What's up? I'm Alise, and welcome to Tarot. Here, tarot isn't just guidance, it is also exploration, and we dive into topics no one else has even thought of to touch. And today's reading is, what primal instincts do you bring out in your person? This reading takes us into territory you or your person may have never even explored or thought of, the darker, more animalistic drives humans never truly evolved out of, only learn to hide. These instinctive urges beneath modern behavior are the ones that surface around someone who affects you on a visceral level. But before we begin, let's clarify exactly what we're diving into. Primal instincts are innate, unlearned urges we're born with. All of us are. The survival and reproductive impulses wired into our nervous system. They're automatic and they're unconscious. And when the right person enters our life, those instincts can come roaring back to the surface. So, in this reading, we'll uncover which of those instinctive drives you awaken in your person. So if you like the vibe, subscribe, and if you see this pick a card topic anywhere else, you saw it here first. Grab a snack, relax your mind, and when you're ready, choose your pile. I'll leave you to it. Alright, so welcome pile 1. I'm going to jump in by calling out some zodiac signs that I picked up for this reading, just for those who like to verify if they're in the right place using astrological energy. So for you, pile 1, I saw Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, and Taurus, especially those who have a Leo or Taurus Venus. That is definitely still coming intuitively to me. It also came to me when I first got the cards out. If you're Leo Venus, then please tag yourself in the comments, because as a fellow 5th house Leo Venus, I know these types of readings are what our placement loves. Astrologers will stereotype Leo Venus as people who demand attention and worship from their partner, but in my personal experience, that's really exaggerated and quite lazy of a generalization. Personally, my placement prefers like a borderline dark obsession over me. You don't have to kiss my feet and tell everyone I'm a goddess. I mean, if you want to, like, by all means, I won't stop you. I just want to get the inkling from your friends and family or the people around you that when you're away from me just a little too long, you start to act a little feral. And when you do finally see me again, you're sneaking extra feathery touches and wafts of my perfume when I'm not looking, because you're fighting against your own unraveling. But back to pile validation, not to sidetrack and make it about me, because it's all about you, pile 1. Other validating things that I got for this pile is that you guys might have red hair, natural dyed, or however you wear it, wig, weave, doesn't matter. However, your hair is either super long, regardless of the color, super long, or cut above your shoulders. The longest I saw would be waist length, and the shortest would be a bob. You may have children or be pregnant right now when you're listening to this. Those who have a child might have an infant, actually. And I think the person you're thinking about could also be the father of your child, or you could just be married to this person. You don't have to be. We could just be talking about your spouse for a lot of you. For some of you though, you could be a single mom. You could also work a remote job or pursue higher education while juggling a lot of responsibilities, especially children if you have them. You could also love to read and have a lot of books. For your person, I think they might also be a fire sign or have a prominent fire placement. They can have a strong voice, but sometimes it might be just a little too loud, coming from someone who people have told me I have a healthy diaphragm, if that's what they had said, if I recall correctly. This person may also have a really bad habit of mansplaining to you. They can also have a history of ghosting you in the past, or they could just be a really, really crappy texter. Like, they're the kind of person, you see them online and they act like they don't have like 100 unread threads and checked messages. Same for emails. This person may also wear suits a lot. Maybe they have a job where they have to wear a lot of suits, or they just like to dress up. But specifically, if they wear suits, they have really nice ones. Some could be even tailored to them, sized and fitted. Could be really, really good material, custom made. That, again, these don't have to resonate with you, but for those who would like the validation for the pile. But anyway, let's get into your reading. Maybe we'll get a little bit of that energy, who knows. But what primal urges or instincts do you elicit in your person, pile 1? So what I got is you guys elicit a strong sense of leadership and protection in your person. Now, I assume that this person is male because my target audience is for feminine expressing or representing people, or women or people who identify as women or a woman. So this person, I'm assuming, or I got from the energy, has a more masculine sense of expression. So if they do, then this individual has a desire to free you of all your burdens by pretty much moving heaven and earth on your behalf. It was giving alpha male, but not any of that red pill BS, okay? I'm talking about a real leader. Why do you bring about these instincts though? Your person sees you as a goddess, but also really angelic. You bring out this urge to protect because of the harmony and peace of mind you bring to others. And your person believes you deserve that tenfold, okay? No if, ands, or buts about it. 10 toes down, tenfold for you. When your person sees you in lack or going without, they have the instinct to really jump in and manifest a stable environment for you. Like I said, move heaven and earth, okay? They want to stabilize the environment, your emotions, and your spirit. They want to bring you peace. And what sparks these protective, like alpha leader instincts is also your femininity. When you're overwhelmed and taking care of others, or they see you taking care of your children, they feel the need to take on your burden for themselves. I literally wrote down that I heard, "Let me be your rock." So this might be someone who says that a lot, or you just maybe had one discussion about it before in the past, but this is that kind of person. And I was getting an example where they like saw your hair tangled, your house or your room is a mess, or your job is exhausting you, you have dark circles, and they just felt like this fiery desire to hold ish down for you. Whether you're together or not, they want to gather all of the bricks that make up a well-rounded and stable life and build you a much sturdier foundation to stand upon. You don't understand, like, you light a fire within this person, okay? This fire fuels their sense of willpower, and it puts them in a state of being sovereign enough to establish a kingdom where you are put on the pedestal as the queen. This is a kingdom where you are the center of everything, okay? And you're not to lift a finger. Also, I had gotten messages regarding more of like what stirs these qualities in your person. They were starting to get physical. So your breasts and your hips, you know, the secondary sexual characteristics you have, bring out this instinct in them as well. I'm getting that if you wear loose clothing that shows off your legs and your shoulders, it awakens the beast, like the lion in them, okay? Because remember, this person's a leader. This person really might be a Leo or have a prominent Leo placement. If one of you has ever teased this person by wearing their shirt and nothing beneath, especially if it was one of those white collar shirts, like the stereotypical fantasy, this person's more sexual primal instincts took over for sure. And like, if you do want to stir those instincts on purpose, then be a little minx and do that. Or take boudoir photos like that and let them see it. And child, I swear, they're going to lose their mind. So just know what you're getting yourself into, though, because this person has this alpha energy. I'm just saying, like, you might need a wheelchair afterwards. Sometimes also the side of your curves, I mean, and just your beauty overall makes them salivate a little bit. They may notice their mouth gets a little watery. For some, we could be talking about the colloquialism, but I think you guys actually make this person's mouth water. You make like the lion, the wolf, the beast in them drool a little, like they've seen tasty prey. I don't want to say meat because they don't see you as a piece of meat. Their mouth waters. And I did look it up to verify if this is a phenomenon. And it actually is. Like, a quick Google search says humans may experience increased salivation when seeing someone they find attractive. a response linked to the brain's reward system and courtship instincts. This is a subconscious reaction, similar to how the mouth may water for something desirable, or when experiencing strong positive emotions like excitement or affection. So you really, really do this to this person. But getting back to the more schmexual primal instincts, when you're nurturing, kind of like what I mentioned earlier, when you're nurturing, when you're feminine and your creative side emerges, whether from child rearing, you're working on projects, or you're just performing self-care routines. Because I had a person do that, a guy I was involved with. Like, he really liked me. He really liked watching me do like my self-care stuff. This person might be similar. You know, you really stir the reproductive instincts as well. So your person develops a bit of a kink, if y'all are into that, when they see you in this Empress energy. They want to get you pregnant and they don't care how it happens either. So if you aren't a traditional couple or committed officially, they really don't care. They want to come down on you fast, hard, and passionately. And they may even entertain a little primal play, you know, hunt you a little bit, chase you, capture you. This can even mean that they just want to baby trap you if you don't have kids or a kid together. So be careful if you don't want a child. But I was getting the energy for those of you who, like, your person has seen you pregnant before. They just want to do it again and again and again. If they haven't seen you in that state, they keep imagining in their head, like, how beautiful, how schmexy and goddess-like, and again, pure Empress energy. They fixate on that, and again, salivate a little bit more. It's like they just, yeah, sorry, because it kind of tripped me up, and I think that's what happens with them. It's like they imagine you and they get caught up in it, and then they don't know what happens. Their mind goes blank, but then they go and return back to it. But they just really like picturing how you'll appear when they do finally lock you down. So again, if you don't want children, be careful. Oh, it's a reminder for bedtime. So like I said, if you don't want children, be careful. I also was going to warn you, because I did get a warning for this pile. Please, please be careful, because someone here actually may be dealing with somebody who's taken by another, who's in a committed relationship already, and that's why they've ghosted you. If you needed the confirmation, you probably already knew that. And that primal desire you stir in them that wants to put a baby in you, plant that seed, is really, really reckless and selfish. If they're already married, they don't want to leave their person. I did pick up on that. They just want to have fun with you. And they're just entertaining the thought of like rejecting convention. Still, it's flighty and not based in commitment. So I just wouldn't suggest wasting your time playing with somebody like that. Of course, your life, your decisions. But yeah, just be careful for those who don't want to deal with that kind of energy. Another message I did get as well for this pile is that you do stir a little obsessive and possessiveness, a feeling that's rooted in that protective instinct I mentioned earlier. Remember when I said this person might be a ghoster or really bad at responding? You awaken a behavior where they watch you from the shadows. They care about your connection, even when you both are out of sync with one another. And if you're apart, they still protectively watch over you. When you guys are in a good place and you are in those moments of burden and overwhelm, they have the desire to keep tabs, okay, and move in the shadows without you ever knowing. Again, you could be trying to reach them all day about whether you're going to agree to... Hold up. Again, you could be trying to reach this person all day about, let's say, whether they're going to agree to pick up something from the store for you because you're too busy or too stressed to take care of it yourself. And to your frustration, they aren't replying fast enough. But you see, they're clearly active on social media in this scenario. Well, This could be because they're caught up trying to orchestrate how they're going to solve your bigger problems, and they're stalking your pages to see what will help. Honestly, a lot of your people get the urge to stalk you a little and watch what you do. Not a crazy obsession, but again, it's like you're this precious, pure thing that they're fascinated with and they can't take their eyes off of you. It's as if a lone wolf has a defect and they find a precious lamb and they just continuously stalk it and hunt it, but they never devour it. That might be a really terrible example, but that's something that I saw in my head. I was still getting this vibe, though, of a third-party thing for some of you. But now it seems like the third party in your relationship with this person could also be a job, a career, or a side hustle. I think some of you work a lot. Some of you may be very disciplined in working towards your goals right now, but you may lack a healthy work-life balance. That also stirs this person's primal instincts because they have that natural leader of the pack provider instinct, like I've mentioned. So they feel the need to step in on your behalf and shut things down or advocate with a here's what we're not going to do kind of energy. If they feel like you're being exploited, taken advantage of, or overburdened. For others, it's possible this person may have had other failed relationships, some that were sabotaged by third parties, and they refuse to let that happen again. So this protective instinct ignites to shield and protect their connection with you by putting in the effort they know will keep the relationship intact. I did, and it's funny because I wrote it down, I forgot that I wrote it down, but at the beginning of our recording here, I had pictured the Greek tragedy of Sisyphus, and I literally wrote down Sisyphus. And Sisyphus is the man who was forced to push a boulder up a hill repetitively. Like, that's how far this primal instinct goes for them. It's, again, like, let me be your rock energy. But also, what was the other one where the Greek tragedy? Somebody tell me in the comments if you can. Remind me, what's the Greek tragedy? Or if it's not a Greek tragedy, who is the mythological person who holds the world up on his shoulders? That person wants to be that for you too. Any challenges that cross your path awaken the belief that you are like made to be strong for yourself and to overcome anything that stands in your way or means you harm. If for you guys, if you could be a stay-at-home mom and focus on taking care of yourself and your children and the things that make you happy, like these primal instincts would finally find satisfaction. In the meantime, though, this person mentally fulfills their instincts, so they solve problems for you. They act as your human encyclopedia or computer. Their instinct drives them to maintain directional awareness in case they get lost as well. They can't have their angle lost in the concrete wilderness that they live in now. I think, clearly their ancestors found their way across the natural world with very little. So why can't they get you safely to that new restaurant across town or down the street to the 7-Eleven or something, Little things like being the designated driver and you being the passenger princess are important. Some of them may actually prep your lunch or meals if they like to cook. And we're talking about human behavior and biology as well, just a reminder. So some of them may find themselves eating a lot of meat or really clean, especially salmon. If your person likes salmon, this is for real, they're reading. It's like the desire to be the leader in your life translates from the unconscious to the conscious in a caveman way that says, they must protect their mate, they must protect their offspring, they have to be healthy and strong for the hunt. Yeah, this person feels that they have to be healthy, in fit shape, and prime, ready to go, even for the little things. It's really giving dad vibes, because that's how dads act. So whether or not you have a child with this person, you really do stir up those primal instincts, like I said earlier, for this person to be prepared for reproduction, be prepared for child rearing, taking care of you, being the hunter-gatherer that takes care of their offspring, protects their family, their unit, their tribe, whatever. But that's what I have for you guys. Let me know how that felt or how that feels, and see if I got any of that, I don't know, right. Either way, I'll see you guys in another reading. Bye. Okay, pile two. The image you guys chose reminds me of that album from Metro Boomin, like Offset and 21 Savage they made like years ago. I can't remember. It must have been around, say, 2018. I think it's called Without Warning or something, but maybe your person likes listening to Offset or Migos, 21 Savage, Metro Boomin, like all those artists and producers. Or maybe you do. Or either of you could own a Doberman or really like that breed of dog. For the astrological signs for this pile, I got Gemini, Virgo, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. I have to say that for the Gemini and Virgo, whoever has that sign, you may have a placement or they may have a placement in detriment or a really challenging position. For a lot of you, I believe it's your person though. The color red was also important. Someone could have impulse control issues or struggle with emotional regulation, anger issues, etc. Some here could be interested in the macabre or even demonology. I had also heard tree people, LOL. I can't remember why or the context, but I wrote that down. Someone here also practices hoodoo. You could also be of Gullah descent. I was getting and seeing bottles on trees. Someone here also has a very scary spirit guide in this pile. Some of them might see the spirit guide as a shadow person, but it's actually not. Or there's just a spirit near you that likes to collect bottles and cans or just trash. Or it lives in bottles and jars. I don't know, maybe one of you trapped a spirit in a jar or it lives there. It was just giving dark Lorax energy. Like, imagine being harassed by a ghost in your house that hates like mess and clutter, or like a spirit that hates when you litter. Let's see, I also got Scorpio vibes from this pile. You or your person could also wear glasses. Someone here has also gone viral before or is trying to go viral. So shout out to you. I hope you reach your goal. You could also be a content creator. Someone also may struggle with alcoholism. And also there's a thing about screen time that I also got. So someone's spirit guides or someone in this pile, either you or your person, needs to give their eyes a break from the blue light of screens. Or maybe you struggle like me with the crazy freaking LED headlights that are on the roads now. Those things should be illegal. They really like burn your retina or they damage it. I literally, one time I was driving with my ex-husband and I could have swore their high beams were on too, and it literally like hurt my eye for the rest of the night. And it was around Christmas time, and I'm filming this around Christmas time. Anyway, yeah, take a break. Go read a book or something, or just sit in the light and meditate. Just give your eyes a break, because we're always in front of our screens. So also, oh yeah, your person could also be older than you. That's all the messages for your pile. If you needed clarifying messages to verify if this is your pile. So if any of that resonated, then welcome to pile 2. All right, so now we can start the show here, pile 2. Your person is a little scary. They've got some genetics, family tree, and ancestral lineage where their primal instincts that they experience are deeply tied to a desire to conquer, dare I say dominate. I guess, conquer is a little bit more harsh and darker than dominate, but I don't know, you take either word however you want to. I did hear I saw, I conquered. So your person may have an interest in ancient history. Julius Caesar, was it Caesar who said that quote? Not, spirit telling me they also like Caesar salad. The energy of this pile brings out a kind of playful energy in me though, despite this person's scarier side. It's like spirit knows that they're like a crash out over the dumbest ish. But anyway, it doesn't really matter, right? Your person really might be a crash out or they're just a goofball, but they do have some dark primal instincts. But what are these instincts or feelings that you elicit in your person? What I saw was the actual desire to obtain and or possess you. I think this pile is the one who may have an unhealthy or toxic relationship to the person. And if it doesn't resonate, I'm not talking to you. I mean, a hit dog will holler, so don't come for me. But if you know, it could just be maybe you guys like to engage in a little few toxic things here and there, and you do have a healthy relationship, right? But regardless, don't shoot the messenger. You could be separated or divorced from this person though, or this person can or has the habit of developing unhealthy attachments or attachments that might be a little possessive or get a little dark sometimes. I think you guys definitely bring out this dark possessive instinct that does see you as a glowing, beautiful prize. They don't mind getting a little manipulative or amoral to obtain. I don't know if this person has a bad dating history as well, or you do, but the energy was telling me that you may bring out an instinct in this person that is highly competitive regarding you being their mate. If you've broken up or distanced yourself from this person as well, they at times get that toxic, if I can't have them, no one can urge. And I'm just going to say primally, if they do have that like up front, just be safe, please. But for instance, I was getting, if you're in another relationship or they see someone show interest in you, this person may want to play dirty a little bit. They might tell a white lie or two or distort the narrative surrounding you to get closer and break you away from that person. Even if you were never together or are not together at the moment you're watching this, they still get competitive urges like that. Put their enemy's head on a stick before you type of stuff. Again, I'm using these examples because we're talking about primal urges, and I just associate that with more animalistic or old borderline caveman behaviors or ancient behaviors. So if you don't like those examples, my bad, but this is what that type of reading is. I also got that this can translate to yours and their family or a close social circle. This whole kind of manipulate or use certain tactics to kind of reel you away or get your attention. And again, like these tactics, they don't have to be so extreme as, again, I don't want you talking to anybody else, or I don't want you around anyone else. It really could just be small things like, I'm just obsessed with this person. I'm obsessed with pile 2, or pile 2 draws out this primal urge in me for me to have them to myself. They're my mate, and they might get a little territorial. I did see this energy of like, if someone doesn't approve of your relationship or dynamic or presents themselves as an obstacle in some way to your relationship, they really don't mind deading the situation. They don't like family members side-eyeing your connection. If they do, they'll show their teeth in their own way. If someone opposes how fast your relationship is moving or did move, or your desires to be together, hit milestones together and progress, they either did snap their jowls at this person in their own way, or they will. Your person with this energy is proving to be, like I said, territorial, a little bit of a guard dog in a sense. You make them a little obsessive and a little guarded. Side note here, you may stir an instinct in them that unconsciously influences them to collect things for you. And I mean items and objects. This translates to both physical objects, like I just said, or how they may show their work. Like, how your dog or cat hunts something for you and brings it to the house? And of course, it'll freak you out because why is there a dead animal on your porch or in your bed or something? This person is similar. Obviously, this person isn't going to bring you a dead animal unless we're talking to a pile whose special person is a hunter. They like to hunt game for sport respectfully, right? They might be entertaining that when they go and hunt for you. Or if they let me know actually if this person has went and they fished for you or they hunted and they at least tried to share the meat with you or the game. Let me know. But I don't think they're going to take whatever they catch or whatever they collect and just dunk it in your bed like some animal. This is still a human being we're talking about. But you do bring out the actual hunter in them. I do think this person, in actuality, may spend a bunch of money on you, or they might support a collector's habit of your own. For instance, I was thinking someone here may really like tumblers or those freaking Stanley cups. This person may exhibit that primal urge that you're sparking in them by buying you one once a month. Or I just what popped in my head just now, coffee mugs. Or if you like certain jewelries or just certain small little trinkets, they either want to collect those for themselves for you, or they just support your habit of collecting those things. Another side note I got as well, because Spirit was really just throwing things at me left and right for this reading. Why did y'all's person stand to watch TV? I did get that. Some of y'all's person really just stands and stares at the TV. My ex-husband used to do that. And sorry to bring up my ex-husband again. I'm not trying to bring that man up, but it's just that is some ish that he used to do, and he used to frustrate the heck out of me. Like, sit down. But getting back to the urges here, I did have to look it up because the energy I was getting is one where they don't buy things. I'm talking about collecting again. They're not buying you things or gifting you what you want because it's a mating ritual or they're peacocking. I couldn't really describe why. I was just feeling this urge to myself to gather pretty things and place them at the altar of a person I'm really fond of or hypnotized by. Does that make sense? Like, looking it up, I found that humans do actually have the primal instinct to gift to our romantic partners. Apparently, it's an impulse that serves to signal potential mate's value. It demonstrates commitment to the partnership and an increase in reproductive fitness. And I did keep picking up on them not only buying you material things or showing off luxury goods if they do that. It's even small things like, hear me out, I was getting pocket change. It was giving like, if this person has change, they're going to empty their pockets and try to make sure you have change. For instance, you know what? I think I used to do this too. For instance, imagine you're sitting in a car and you are trying to find change for the parking meter. Say you guys are downtown or something, or trying to use street parking. You don't have change. This is that person's time to shine. They see that now you don't have change and you're never really prepared, so they're going to empty all their pockets. They're going to search around, and then it's going to become a habit now. They're going to automatically now, every time they have change, they're going to save it for you, and then they're going to find a way to distribute it to you to put it in your vehicle, something like that. And if you're around this person, and we're talking about something unconscious, right? So you're probably not going to pick up on it that well. But I do want to say that if you do pay extra attention, you may realize that when you spend extended periods of time around this person, you just really do find these objects laying around. It can even be as simple as someone who's romantic and they want to give you flowers. It could just be a simple habit like that. You're like, oh, I do notice that this person does consistently go out of their way to buy me flowers. But I was really getting more small things like the pocket change thing. You're going to be finding change around your house, or you're going to be finding things that are useful, but also things that signify that they have value in your life. It's okay and it's correct to have them around, that there is a purpose for them. They do help out. They do serve as a potentially good mate if they already aren't your mate. It's kind of like a tax, especially too with the pocket change. It's like they're paying you a mate tax or a potential mate tax. Yeah. Spirit was also showing me this person operates like a bird. I was seeing a male bird pick up something shiny with its beak and drop it, at the feet of another mate, a female bird. And I'm telling you, something about these small objects, shiny things, it could be anything. This person may also spend more money Like I said, gifting you flowers as well compared to other partners or romantic interests. Now, the darker side of these primal instincts you arouse in them deals with them, again, showing possessiveness and a little obsession. With the previous actions I touched upon, their behavior is driven by the need to have you all to themselves. And I know I said that already, like, oh, like, it's not that extreme. It doesn't have to be that extreme. But it just depends on the context as well. That's what I believe. And set behaviors are meant to I feel like this part is more for the people who your person has a darker side. If you know your person is, if we're talking about a golden retriever mate, they don't do this. But y'all know the ones who are literally like the Doberman in the picture, which I'm fairly sure the majority of yours are, because I keep forgetting that Doberman is just so aggressive. It's giving guard dog energy. But again, like readers always say, take it as it resonates. This just might really be a really dark pile, but what I was getting with the keeping you to yourself vibe, or keeping you to themself vibe, this person does want to protect you. So don't underestimate or don't think that this person's entirely crazy, because they're not. They just don't want you to find another mate or a prospect. They just don't want to risk that chance. But this Doberman energy with the Doberman pile, it's like I said, guard dog. So this person really does want to protect you. But the shadowy toxic side to their possessiveness does breed codependency and a tight perimeter. If you guys have an online presence, or if they have access to your social media, they watch you heavily. Pile 1's person was kind of a detached ghost, watching them protectively from afar to provide solutions, but also like still out of reach. Their person was a little detached. Your person is replaying your posts and they're watching all your photos or looking at your photos out of lust and a lot of emotional energy as well. Again, if you're broken up from them, separated, or just entertaining other options, when they see you engaging with someone else, their heart, like you get their blood pumping. They do see a little red and they go back to the, I'll eliminate all my enemies. I'll get rid of all the obstacles. So the person that I want, which is you, pile 2, can be my mate. They want you to only see them. And again, it doesn't have to be this extreme, but that was just the more potent energy I was getting. This could just be much, much softer in real life. When this person doesn't have a healthy way, though, of channeling these instincts you bring out, they do get into trouble. They may just get aggressive with the same gender or whoever they think the competition is or could be. Let's say small things, right? This person could show their teeth in little ways. Maybe they get a little petty. Maybe they posture a little bit, or they just start fighting. They could just pick fights. This person is someone who could have spent a night in jail. This, I'm not gonna lie, because what I say earlier, this pile or the art reminds me of that Metro Boomin album. And that is like a thuggish album. So y'all really, this might be the pile who has the thugs. You guys just might be with thugs. And that's okay. But this person, they could have been in jail. They could have gone to jail before. They might know what the back of a police cruiser looks like. But hold on though, because I do remember those tracks too from that album. The only thing that those ninjas rap about is trapping and banging. So again, this is the pile of the thugs, the gangbangers, the trappers. It doesn't have to be for everybody, but if you know your person. So y'all really just might be out here messing with dealers. I'm not gonna say a scammer. I just think you're dealing with a very alpha, high testosterone person. But all those bad decisions fueled by their more animalistic nature are influenced by their anxiety and fear, though. Again, this person has a very competitive instinct. Like I said, Pile 1's person was very protective, but they also showed leadership instincts as well as a provider behavior, which now if I think about it, Pile Pile 1's image had a canine in it too, but there was a butterfly on its nose. I don't know if you guys noticed that either. So it shows that more gentle, docile approach, more gentleness. Y'all's photo looks like that god's got like radioactive rabies or something. Don't make this man mad, please. I gotta say, your person's a little feral, just a little bit. It's junkyard dog. Y'all got a junkyard dog. Just be careful, because while these primal instincts of theirs can be used to seek better opportunities and elevate their life, all because they want you, these instincts can be a detriment. So make sure that they don't go overboard and they don't isolate you from your loved ones or from your goals and ambitions. Make sure they don't start fights when another suitor or someone who might just pose as a threat breathes in your direction. You know, obviously let them drop a couple racks on you, but don't allow that to open the door to manipulation and obsession. Okay, pile 2? So that was your reading. Let me know how you feel. I hope to see you in another reading of yours. Bye. What's up, pile 3? So I'm just going to jump in, get this reading kicked off by just being straight and to the point. Obviously, no pile is the same. We all know that. And although I did confirmation messages for the previous 2 piles, I actually didn't intend to do them period for this whole reading, as well as for this pile, because I was only given the inkling at first that you guys may be earth signs. But all I needed to really do was just tap back in later, and some messages have come through, and I will give them to you here. So if the following aligns with you or the person you're thinking about, then this is your pile, okay? So, like I said, you guys could be earth signs. Someone here may be into fairies or fairy core, or you watched my What Type of Fairy Would You Be reading? You can also be a witch or consider yourself one. Specifically cottage witchery, earth magic, kitchen witchery. You can also like to feed and watch birds. You can have a pet snake or a pet bird. If you own plants, you may have one that has like a really, really big leaf compared to the others, or just a really big leafy plant in general. But it's just a prelude to how big it's going to get. If this is a plant where the other leaves are small and one leaf is huge, like, don't worry, that thing's going to get big. Also, you guys could have dark hair. Aries and Scorpio energy was showing up as well. Someone here likes to eat sushi, especially rice and salmon. I think your person, though, likes to grill or smoke meat. If you like grilled meat as well, then cool. You know, cool. They may also smoke or vape as well. Your person may also have a beard. And I'm talking about like a full thick beard, you know. They not one of those can't connect, patchy 12-year-old boy one. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about a grown man here, okay? This person may also snooze their alarm clock too much, or they have like 100 different alarm clocks on their phone. That also reminds me of somebody with ADHD, because I feel like a lot of the people I know who have ADHD do that. So maybe this person has ADHD, or maybe you do. This person can also be super athletic. They can also be a crush of yours, or they've been crushing on you and want to reveal their feelings soon. So to get into the main topic, the meat and potatoes, what primal instincts or feelings do you elicit in this person that you're thinking about, pile 3? So what I got here, y'all, is vastly different from the other 2 piles. I was getting that you awaken primal feelings, or feelings in general, that are really strong. I think this person sees you as abundant, nurturing, and successful. If this person wants children, they definitely fantasize about you being the perfect mother because of this beautiful, nurturing aura you give off. This person may have seen you interact with animals. I did hear Disney princess or nature. This person could have seen you in nature, and they were just left in awe of how someone could be so magical and so lovely. I was getting a little high with this energy, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like your person's desire to lay in your lap. They have this desire to lay in your lap, have you stroke their hair or rub their cheek so they can feel loved and taken care of by you. But you also look like you belong to maybe a higher class or status compared to them. Like, if that's not the case right now, this person sees that's your destiny. That's where you're headed. You're going to be of status. And this person also believes that your kind of personality and grace is only going to attract you wealth and luxury, or at least a partner who's going to give that to you. And that does destabilize them because they look to you and you're radiant, the perfect mate instinctually, but wounds from their past love life force them to kind of hold their emotions back. Even if this energy is pointing to you two no longer being together romantically, this person is suppressing quite a bit regarding you. Your presence or the thought of being with you, regardless of circumstance, could flood their system with a tsunami of hormones. And because of this, they are at war with their own human nature. It's like the overwhelm of emotions really drives them. It's like, not necessarily drives them. It's like what I felt was like they feel like they really have, like I said, they really have to suppress this because this overwhelming amount of emotions they feel, or the hormones that elicit these emotions, it really does threaten to slip through the cracks. So they really force it down. They hammer that ish down. And with this energy, I was getting this, like, spirit was alluding to biology, right? If we think about it, like where we're going with primal instincts, we're thinking more psychology, right? But all the sciences are linked together. But I was getting urges and instincts that are deeply biological response or hormonal response compared to the other piles where they were more psychological, However, if this person that you're thinking about were to fully embrace these primal instincts, they would, similar to pile 1, be driven to obtain you strategically. I looked it up as well, and it turns out males within the human species are theorized to have evolved 2 main mating strategies. One is short-term, focusing on fertility cues and schmexual access. The other is long-term, and this involves investment and commitment. And I think your person finds themselves driven toward long-term strategizing, but I think the thoughts that are influenced by this unconscious motive kind of scares them at times. It's giving, like, have you guys ever had that experience though? Moments where, even as a modern day human, you have an experience that brings back your more feral animalistic nature, or you have a response that goes against the modern way of doing things. I think this person struggles with that. They just really could be sensitive to their own hormones, their own patterns and changes physiologically, and it just might kind of scare them a little bit at times. Pile 2's person was driven to mate guard. This Pile 2's person wanted to maintain exclusivity by driving rivals away without any resistance. But Pile 3, your person resists their urges because they may think the strategic drive that arises from their unconscious to the conscious translates as a sort of sexism or unnecessary dominance at times. And I'm not saying your person is sexist. I'm saying they're afraid of coming off that way. They don't want to be a Neanderthal. They don't want to be a caveman. But when they engage with that primal urge for a mating strategy, they may feel like it's not even a game of cat and mouse. This is hunter versus prey. And please don't misconstrue that as a real phenomenon, because it is actually a harmful idea that humans, specifically males, hunt their partners. And that may be why your person has an aversion, because they don't want to be seen that way, or they don't want to feel that way. But besides, they prefer a softer, more gentle approach. Let's see here. What other instincts do you provoke? I do think this person is chatty. The innate ability to communicate, display their intelligence, and allow mutual assessment is very heavy. this person might actually light up when they talk to you, or they could be a great communicator in general. I also see that they do get the drive to present themselves as a better choice for you by taking control of their life and environment. It's more peacocking on a more well-rounded scale. This isn't coming up to you and flaunting their feathers with what they're wearing or how they talk or how they walk. This is peacocking in a way of, and even peacocking is more egotistical, right? I wouldn't even consider it peacocking. They just want to make sure that when you do come to assess them, or if you ever do, there is no room for failure. There's no room for you to say no, or no room for rejection overall. If you know this person has gone through setbacks, job loss, isolation, whatever, they feel the need to invent a breakthrough. So their life is presentable. They want to show you that they are a good decision maker and that they can be a victor or a victorious person. But the thing is that behind closed doors, they might actually be a bit of a pessimist. When you're not around, they don't go as hard to generate success and overcome their obstacles. This person definitely gets that instinct to, like I said, using the word peacock again, but they do get that instinct to do that to you. You know how we always want to present ourselves a certain way to someone we're into? They do that to you by showing you that they have a vision. They're a fighter. They're ambitious. And if you've known them for a while, they may have grown out of their pessimism, but they were definitely pessimistic at first. So some of your people have really grown and come a long way, and they want to show you that. But some of them are really still struggling. They're closeting their pessimism, and they're still showing up presentable to show you that they do have a vision. Like I said, only when you're around or they think you're looking, or that you might be looking, or even just in the context of them pursuing the goal long term of obtaining you as a mate, they know that the steps to even get there, steps A and B first, are to get their ish in order and to present themselves, change their mindset, and show themselves as a king of wands in a way. Interestingly enough, though, I see that you do awaken the instinct in them to be healthy and very fit as well. Like I said, well-rounded, right? We're not just talking about them making good money, them making good choices. I mean, all of it has to do with good choices, but a lot of people just look at the surface as like, okay, does this person make good money? Is this person genuinely a nice person to interact with? Do they have a history of violence or aggression? Those kinds of things. This person is definitely into making sure that their body is physically fit. They do get the need to prepare and eat a really healthy diet. They may eat a crap ton of protein. And when I began to tap into this energy, I definitely got the insight that you make them revert to hunter-gatherer ways. So if they bring you meat, or are always trying to fix you meat, or just meals, that's 2 million years of genetics awakening when they hear your voice or they smell you in the air. If you have a garden or a green thumb, it drives them even more crazy. You go gather some fresh tomatoes and herbs while they hunt for meat at the market, and they'll want to claim you, okay? You will drive them nuts. It really makes their, like I said, 2 million years of ancestral lineage. It just makes them go off. It makes them high. Also, this person, for you, pile 3, that you're thinking of, they may have broad shoulders. But I kept getting drawn back to the urge to strategize a way of obtaining you. I think the person that you're thinking of is playing a really long game with you. If they have romantic feelings, regardless of the fact that they've had past issues to heal, it could even be that they know they attach fast and have a strong emotional response to the person they're into. But again, they're a little unnerved about how easy it is for those feelings to develop actual thoughts in their head, like, I'm going to do XYZ 1, 2, 3 over the next year, and I'll surely get them by then. So like I mentioned earlier, they know that they feel the urge to be more well-rounded overall as a human being, to attract your attention, to make them a suitable mate or a good or viable option, right? And they know especially those who are still struggling with their pessimism, they know that they're going to have to take some sub or side steps first before they actually are able to achieve the goal of obtaining you. And those side steps, or those first few minor steps, are to get their mind right, get their body physically fit, adjust or make positive changes to their finances, get a better job. This person, for some of you, they really have mapped all of that out in their head, and that freaks them out. And they're associating it with, oh, I just have really bad attachment issues. And that might be the case, right? Because for some of them, they might be like, I don't really know this person like that. Regardless of if they do it or not, that freaks them out. But that is being fueled by their primal urges and instincts. You are eliciting that in them, and that is fueling this long-term strategy. When they think about you, they think, okay, I got to do 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z. And when they really take the time to unpack that, they go, ooh, I might be doing a little too much, but they still give in anyway. So that's what I have for your person, pile 3. Let me know how this resonated for you, and I hope to see you guys in another reading. Bye.